Good day, dear friends. We are 8 p.m. on the nose, I think, Eastern time. This is our Sunday version of this thing of ours. I say to you, welcome, my friends, welcome one and all for an event which, frankly, I'm getting addicted to. I never knew this was much fun. Maybe one of the reasons why it's so nice to be among friends where we don't really disagree about things. Because as you know, in our culture, disagreement is something that we can't handle. People don't know how to do this. It's the strangest thing. But because we pretty much share, I think we have the same ways of thinking, it's even easier. Oh, we got people from Tampa, my hometown. Where in Tampa are you from? I was from Sulphur Springs. That's where I was from. We got folks from Ohio. It is so great. One time later on, we'll do a kind of a geography, kind of a roll call to see where people are from. I think that's fantastic. But tonight I want to talk to you about something which is very, very important, especially to those who might be new, might be new to this particular thing. I know when I mean this particular thing, I mean this particular version of this. You know, little background. What I find so great about this, and you for that matter, is I find a lot of political commentary to be kind of boring. Because it's just, I know exactly what you're going to say. You know what I'm going to say. And there's never any, it's just not, we don't change anybody's mind. It's like, why do we do this? What's the point of this? What's the point of us doing this? Why are we doing this? What's the point? I think Karen Thompson knows. She's a new member. Welcome aboard. Have some crumb cake. But what's really interesting is that I've been doing this now. I want to get just to let you know this since 88. Okay, this is official. When talk radio was in its nascent period, and I've been through every iteration of this, and I found out like what's interesting and what's not. And I have been kind of in a series of doldrums recently because the whole notion of political talk is just dull. And with all this going on in the world, it's like, what am I going to say? Repeat what you say? You're going to repeat what I say, or I'm going to dispute you? Maybe I should. I hate when arguments are rote. I hate when they're canned, when they're repetitive. It's almost like they're written, they're Pavlovian, these weird kind of patellar reflexes. I know what you're going to say. I know what you're going to say. This is different. Because there's four particular aspects. Tonight, by the way, the subject is Charlie Kirk, the Red Room as rabbit hole, uncovering shocking conspiracies without losing your sanity. This I want to help you with because I don't want you to fall into this trap, especially if you're a commentator or a contributor yourself. There are four areas that we want to talk about. Four areas which are interesting. First of all, there's the crime itself. The crime itself. Evidence, who did it, culpability, that sort of thing. Next is the identity of the culprit or culprits. Was it a conspiracy? Was it Tyler by himself, at all, or with other people? That's the second part of it. The third part of it is why, the motivation. That gets tricky. I'll explain that one. And number four, the other issue is Erica. Erica Kirk is just, it's delicious. It keeps growing and changing. And have you noticed how many new people are coming on board and realizing this woman is, she's rather less than sincere. And they're recognizing and seeing through the fact that she's a phony. I mean, so many things. They're going through it and dissecting it at levels. I remember what Dan Bongino said, and I did a piece today about him because he really hit a nerve with you. Really hit a nerve. And many of you are suggesting that maybe he was forced to do this by virtue of threats, maybe him from himself or his family. I hope not. Because it seems like his change was so great, so drastic, and so what's the word? So over the top. It didn't seem commensurate with, it didn't seem consistent with usual stuff. You know what I mean? It was something very, very strange with it. It was very odd. Very odd. So the interesting part about that is we're wondering all these things that are going on. Now, let me tell you what I want to bring up to your attention, which is most important. I've seen this happen before. And what they're going to do is they're going to do this. They're going to say, so you're a fan of Candace. Is that it? Oh, okay. And then they're going to say, so I guess you're an anti-Semite too, huh? Oh yeah, this is coming. If it hasn't already, they do this all the time. Oh, so I guess you hate the president? Or, wait a minute, hold it, stop it. We're not saying that. Nobody's talking about that. Maybe you have, my friends. Maybe you have, but we haven't. Lisa, by the way, Lisa Conklin says, do you believe Charlie was shot? You truly are a voice of wisdom we need these days. Well, I think now this is a great question. Yeah, it seems like it. It seems like a projectile of some sort hit him. But here's the story. And please, I'm warning you ahead of time. I'm going to go back and forth. You're going to say, did he finish that story? It's the way I am. I am frenetic. I am desultory. I'm elliptical. I'm all over the place. I can't help it. I'm crazy. I love this subject. Lisa, unless I see medical reports, unless I see, let me see a file. Did you recover any ballistic? Well, we found some fragments of what? Weapon fragments around a bullet? Okay, fine. If they say we didn't find anything, how odd is that? You didn't find anything, any elements at all, any fragments, any ballistics, nothing? How do we know that that round came from that rifle? Is there any salvageable ballistics, anything at all? DNA? I like when they say DNA. That's another one too. But anyway, I don't know. It seems, by virtue of what we saw, this is consistent. However, I don't know. I need experts. And that's the thing I want to tell you. I will consult with you on the case, but I can't make an opinion, nor will I form an opinion, if I'm just seeing something that, now it may warrant inspection, and I don't know what to believe. I don't know what to believe anymore. At all. Nothing. I don't know what to believe. I don't believe anything. I understand you tell me something, but so we don't know. Somebody somewhere, I told you this immediately. What I would have done if I was President Trump, I would have put Kash Patel on the FBI plane, and I would say, I want you to go there, and I want you to find, I want you to give me the information. Give it to me. Now, if the president does not want to know this, or if Kash Patel doesn't want to know this, I want to know, well, why not? What's going on with this? Why is this high priority, high ticket? We can't let this happen. We can't let this go the way of Nancy Guthrie. Oh, by the way, merch. We can't let this go the way of Nancy Guthrie. That thing is gone. Gone. So that's number one. But I want to go back to what I was saying before. They're going to tell you right now. They're going to tell you, oh, so you're because Candace, they've done everything. They've tried everything. They sent out the bots, the human bots, the ghouls, the sock puppets, the proxies to attack her and yell at her and all this. They tried to do that to no avail. They tried to do that to no avail. They tried to do that to no avail. Nothing worked. Dan Bongino, all of this over. Ready for this? Over. That's right. You heard me say it before. A trailer. It doesn't make any sense. None of it made any sense. So that didn't work. So the thing is, who exactly who was that directed towards? Us? Who? Let me say this again. When they were trying to belittle and impeach the integrity, if you will, or the testimony of Candace, why would Dan Bongino yelling at this? What was it going to do to us? Maybe it might stop somebody from coming over to Candace's side, if that's a phrase that's even warranted. Didn't do anything to us. To show you how stupid this is, they would have told him if he was smart, Dan, you're going to lose your audience, and you're going to win nobody over. What are you doing this for? It doesn't make any sense. Why are you doing this? And who's listening to these people? Who listens to them? The only person who can change my mind is Candace. Or some evidence that I don't think even could possibly even exist theoretically that shows that she doesn't know what she's talking about. No. Because here's the story. What Bongino and these other talking heads don't understand, as long as there's an Erica, you missed the point. You missed the point. Remember, there's 4 parts of this. There are some people, as you know, who want to argue about the actual, who want to talk about the case itself. I won't talk about that. Then we get into who did it, who exactly was it. Number 3, the motive. Why? Do you think this was really the storyline where this guy Tyler says one day, I don't like the way you're talking about trans people. I'm going to show you. Come on. Stop it. And the 4th is Erica. Our good friend War Mom says, how much does it cost to see the impression of apoplectic? Apoplectic Bongino again. You know, you're killing me with that. I almost lost consciousness. Hell. Try this. It's like I feel like I'm getting high without any of the attendant anxiolytics. In any event. Now, what they're going to tell you, they're going to try this. Remember, what does this mean? I can't speak for you, but I say I like what Candace Owens is doing regarding this. Candace Owens has a lot of opinions. She has a lot of opinions about Catholicism, about her family, about religion, about this, about race, about whatever. I don't know about that. That's fine. I'm sure they're solid. We most probably agree. That's not what I'm here for. That's not what I care about. I don't care about that. It's like, do you care if the person who's going to save your life, the heart surgeon, of what religion he is? No, I don't care about it. But that's what they're going to do because they're really going to double down now. They're going to double down with all that's going on in the Middle East and all that's going on in the world. They're going to make her out to be this hate monger. They're going to try everything in their power to do that. Now, the thing is, I'm telling you, I'm saying, and you should do the same thing. We're not about that. We don't ever talk about that. Do you ever hear us talk about even Trump or no. Do we ever talk about any of this stuff? No. It's not that it's not important, but that's not what we're about. Has politics even come into this? Do I know if you're a Democrat? You could be a Democrat, Republican. I don't care. We're talking about Charlie. There may be a tendency to think the same politically, but even if you do, so what? We're not talking about that. I'm not talking about that. Tucker Carlson has said some good things in the past. He said some other things I thought were less than good. So what? I'm not endorsing everything. My favorite band growing up was Chicago, but I love Steely Dan. Don't like every song they did. Asia was one of the greatest albums ever. Don't like every song on it. I don't know why I have to sign on. So I'm telling you, they're going to do this. They've done this before. This is how they do it. They will associate, they will say, if you're of a name that, not that you're not, it's lucky that you're not, but let's say they know your name and they want to do a Wikipedia on you. For example, they'll say something like, you believe in MAGA. Let's use that as an example. Somebody will say that MAGA people are racist, or the Southern Poverty Law Center will say something, or whoever. And then they will associate you with that because the Southern Poverty Law Center or some other group said something on Snopes or whatever, and then they put it in Wikipedia, and you're connected from that. And you say, wait a minute, I know nothing about these people. I'm talking about something else. This has nothing to do with, what are you talking about? That's what they do. Kitty Whiskers now, there we go, says, I'm worried TPUSA is taking over churches to push for that place that rhymes with cereal with an R. Oh, wow. Well, you know, I got to tell you something. If that's what they want to do, we'll deal with that later. What I'm trying to say is, I don't know anything about this now. I'm talking about the case of this. We can get into those areas. I don't know what to tell you. If Dan was being serious, he needs some real help. I think it was an act to receive a nice payment. This whole thing is such fugazi, yes. I don't know what to believe. I'm feel sorry for Charlie's parents. Yes, I do as well. Yes, I do as well. Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, there are some things, and I'm going to go back to this. What I'm here for, and what we've talked about, I think without any kind of doubt. Oh, there's, hi guys. There we go. Hi guys. Oh, look, it's Erica. To me, the story is Erica. That's just the most fun. The other stuff is interesting, but what's the most fun and what you can look at immediately that just draws people in is Erica, because she doesn't know it. Dan doesn't know it. She doesn't know it. They have no idea. That's it. Now, everything else is important, and God bless you. You can talk about that all you want. But I think what makes us so convivial is that, and one of the reasons why I think you might feel comfortable with us talking, is we don't hit you with politics. Politics is a terrible thing because it's one of those things that nobody really knows about. Nobody really understands it. And they don't understand the malleability of it, how it doesn't matter, how these labels and these names don't make any sense. How you can be a member of a party and disagree with the majority of their political positions. I don't want to get into it. It's boring. Let other people talk about it. It's boring. It really is. I'm not going to say, this is fun. If I said that with anybody, say, let me ask you something. You want to know what we talk about every night? Let me show you. Play the Erica clip. Play the one you want. How about the one with Barry Weiss? Stop. She has those doll eyes. Those crazy eyes. Those eyes of penetrating hate, danger. She scares the hell out of you. Play that. That's what we're talking about. Who is that? That's Erica Kirk. What is she doing? She's trying to garner sympathy. Sympathy, yeah. Her husband tragically was dispatched, expurgated, bowdlerized, emended, ablated, cosmically amputated, and she never talks about it. Never talks about it. Never talks about it. Never misses a gig. Never talks about her kids. Never talks about him. Never talks about anything. Never talks about him in the least. And whenever she does this, we should write down, we should have, we should have, I don't want to advocate drinking excessively, but we should have a drinking game. We should have a little card. And what would you write down? One of the things. First of all, you got to know if this is straight on, 12 o'clock. 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 3, 9. That's her thing. She comes out. She looks up. That's one thing. Dab, 2 eye. Notice there's no real crying. It's just like this. She stops it. She goes like this. She goes like this. Next, there's never any, I'm sorry, I don't want to get into the whole notion of how do I say this? Oh, God. I don't want to go through the mucosal connection. But normally when you cry, you say, can I, you got to blow your nose. Because your lacrimation and mucus and it's, do you ever see her do that? She's got all these tissues. She never blows her nose. She recovers so quickly. And you got to ask yourself, this is the way it goes. This is the way it goes. It's like anything else. If somebody claims they have a limp and they don't have a limp, if they claim to be right-handed, one of the pictures years ago of Saddam Hussein, he was left-handed, but then they show him later on right-handed, and it just these things matter because the truth never. But there would be I've never really heard anybody in my life who talks about the Lord, who talks about biblical references. It's so plain. So without, it's almost like he's talking about like the ingredients of a canned good or something. It contains fructose and the Lord and I'm not making fun of religious belief by any stretch of the imagination, but I've heard people who really are devout, and when they are devout, you believe it. They say something, and it's almost not like it's one of the ones I'll never forget is when she and when Charlie, bless his heart, Charlie was a bit of a buffoon, a little bit of a lestorura, a little bit, a jidrol. And he was saying, like, and what do you think about having children? It's the work for the Lord. It sounded Stepfordy. Barron just released a code cipher that one of the audience guys at Red Room, who was a special forces officer, that was national security implications. Well, let me tell you something. I'm sure that's great. And I also heard something. Our friend, what's his name? The Wolves and the... hang on a minute. He is Wolves. The Wolves dude. What's his name? Yeah, Baron Coleman. Very good. And he also seems like a very nice man. Renee says, do you think we'll ever get to the truth that took Charlie out? No, because they're not going to give you anything. We have no subpoena power. Wolves in Finance, thank you so much. I was listening to his recently. Wow. Hey, listen. I'm writing that down. I'm not saying things aren't possible, but don't lay that on people who aren't a member of the team. You know what I mean? They're going to listen and they go, "What the hell are you talking about?" You see, let me explain something to you. And this is the most important. I can't tell you when you believe something or when you say, keep an eye on this. Keep an eye on this. I'm suspicious of this, and this. That can turn into that is true. If you believe that there is some type of a military takeover, or excuse me, if you suspect there's a military takeover because somebody may have said something, some people will jump and say, it is a military takeover. And you say, wait a minute, hold on. We don't know that yet. But listen, you tell me what is not possible. Tell me one thing that's not possible. The answer is nothing. It's all possible. It's possible. And I can argue whatever you want. I can argue like you can't believe. And I can argue I can argue one way or the other. I don't know. But please don't think that I'm not all ears. I love the fact that people are thinking. I love the fact that people think that behind the wall and behind backstage, there is this world behind the stage. There's this, how do I say this? There's this other side, this other world. The government is like a Potemkin village. It's a movie set. Behind that is the shadow government, the deep state internally. There are people and concerns and others. There are, of course, there are people and levels of concern and control and evil that have been around since the Middle Ages. That's never going away. For you not to recognize that is one of the scariest things in the world. Cypher saying LA fires was a planned event. Well, I did a very long review of that one. And I will tell you that I'll explain in the morning. Kitty says, I think we all know the truth, just like Kennedy, etc., but it will be denied and no consequences. Let me explain something. Fires. Write this down. Take this as an example. What evidence do we know? What do we know? What do they say? What do we know? Somebody comes along and says, motive is a very, very nice thing. The Trump administration has already pardoned TPUSA regarding wolves in finance. Pardoned them? Well, I don't know what we're pardoning, but I don't know what that means. There's nothing been charged yet. I don't think there's any, I'm not sure what there is to pardon, but the thing I'm thinking of is I listen to people and I hear what they have to say. And one of them is simply this. First, it really kind of sort of makes sense for the most part for you to ask yourself, who benefits? It's called cui bono, cui bono, or cui prodest. That's the other one. It's the same thing. Somebody's got to benefit from this. Why would somebody burn that building down? To collect the insurance money. Oh. Well, why would this person be killed? Because it was a jealous wife. Oh. Well, why was this woman red rummed? Because it's a serial killer. Oh. Well, why did he break in? Because he's a drug addict. Oh, normally there's some initial motivation in most things that are crimes. There's something that at least passes as a reason for it. People just don't do things just for, unless it's completely negligent and it's kind of manslaughter-ish and that sort of thing. But when it comes to things like fires, ask yourself this question. Well, one thing happened to be, and this is very interesting. If you look at the map, there was this talk about this high-speed rail they've been talking about forever. There's a move, about Codex, there's some UN programs, Codex Alimentarius, but there's Project 2030, Project 21. You know how this is. And one of the things they've always wanted to do is to move people from spread out into cities and then stacked and that sort of thing. But in California, it was always suggested that it would really be beneficial if we could just go and just spread this railroad or whatever it was through this area, but doggone it, there's all these people there. Huh. Pay attention. All right. Is it possible for somebody to deliberately, actively target a particular home without having to bring out chemicals and, accelerant and everything that can be popped? And I know we have discussed the world of direct energy weapons, DEW. What do? Well, they're in existence now, but can they do that? Some say yes, some say no. Why would Joe Biden actually suggest that some homes that have a blue painted roof, which is a little odd? Do you know anybody with a blue painted roof? I don't. Do you? But he said that. I didn't say that. He said that. And let me tell you something. Unless you're in this business like we are, there are people who will be sitting there who would listen to that and never hear a word of it. Never hear a word of it. They would not have heard or caught any of this. None of it. They wouldn't get it. We get it. It's one of those things that, like if you said to us, DARPA, HARP, it means something to us. To them, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. Most people, it doesn't know what you're talking about. Direct energy weapons, what are you talking about? Oh, why would Joe Biden say that? Why were there people who testified repeatedly, people who weren't in or anything, who said, we have this house. Let's say this is a house. The house was basically incinerated, but nothing around it. It was the weirdest thing. And I mean burned to the studs. Or the house was saved and everything around it was. How is that possible? So what I would do is, assuming I lived in a real world with real motive, with really good people, I'd say, I want you to find this out. And if I was a president, I'd say, I want you to go and get to the bottom of this. And I'll bet you in a half an hour, they'll say, oh, we know what that is. We know what that is. We know what that is. I'd ask everybody around the world. That's one thing. Remember Lahaina? Remember this in Hawaii? Fine, how are you? That's a terrible joke. Oprah and others. All of a sudden, this property that was just demolished. Was it bought up? I don't know. Was it? I don't know. Anybody follow up on that? I don't know. That's what I would look. Where is that? Where is that? Who? Why do these people buy this stuff up? Why does this work like that? Now, this is just, come on. If you really want to see something, and I could find the information for you, I did this. I'll dig up the the piece I did. There are two things that they want more than anything else in LA because of the Olympics and FIFA. They want to get rid of these mansions. They want to get rid of all that stuff. They want to just get rid of it. I don't know whether Pacific Coast Highway or Malibu or whatever was ever brought back. I don't know, but they want these people out of there. They want them out. They want them out, and they want them gone now. Donovan, by the way, the lovely Donovan Beaton says, Cypher mentioned Baltimore port and that Strait of Gibraltar. Also mentioned other ports throughout the world, all from a guy at Charlie's Red Room. Now be careful. I don't know what you're talking about, but if this particular name or this particular source is considered an evil conspiracy theory, tomorrow it'll be in Wikipedia. You're one of these lunatics who follows this. And there's going to be always people who bring certain things. There's always going to be somebody who brings a reference. Now remember something. This is what I'm trying to tell you. If I tell you that I know about something because of, like in the old days of, like some of the, the Howard Hunts or the Gordon Liddy's or the spies and spooks and the people who are responsible. If I tell you that if I'm privy to this, remember Vault 7, WikiLeaks, because I tell you something, don't take it on fact. Just say, that's interesting. Let's look into this. Could be, let's look into this. Could be, let's look into this. There's also something where the government just simply doesn't care. Doesn't care what you think. During COVID, did anybody care about what was that amount? No. Did anybody really go back and say, how did this gain of function? Was it in Wuhan? What was it? Remember, it wasn't just Fauci, but the other person? No. They just ignore you. And there were all kinds of theories. Oh my God, there were theories like you couldn't believe. Who's this? Austin Fitz, or whatever her name is. Great. What is her name? She was with Tucker. She's been everywhere. She talks about digital currency and nobody's paying attention. She's telling you right there, this is what they're going to do. Nobody knows. We've been talking about actual chambers, channels, groups of people who are involved in the predation of children. Anybody going into that? No. They're not looking. They don't care about this. So what I'm telling you is that it may be fascinating. It may be really interesting. I remember when my red pill went 9/11. Wow. Did you know? And I can tell you right now, unequivocally, I couldn't tell you anything about who did what, why they did it. There's all kinds of theories, all kinds of stuff that could make it make sense. But is that enough to find somebody guilty? It's great probable cause, but not reasonable doubt. If I hear about Silverstein one more time, pull it. They always say that. What about it? Pull it. Why do you say pull it? This is Building 7. Why? I've heard this before. You know what? Pull it. Pull this. They've been saying this for 25 years now. Give it up. Nobody's going to be investigating any of the. Don't you understand that there was shorts? Yes, I understand that. Don't you understand that Building 7 had the SEC, the FBI? Yes. I understand it. You get to a point where you're saying, you're telling me stuff I know. And all of the things that you mentioned, all of the references and all of these theories, they mean nothing if nobody ever goes back and follows through with it. Renee says, the thought that we will never have closure regarding CK is actually depressing. Perhaps I'm too naive. John Kennedy, Bobby Kennedy, Martin Luther King. Name it. Who? Seriously, who? Marilyn Monroe. Kurt Cobain. Who? Listen, I'll tell you, Renee, get ready. There's two things. These are sort of good people at what they're doing, but we don't go after it. We don't storm the Bastille. We don't say we want to know who did this. We're not buying this. We're not. We had two people, Kash Patel and Bongino, basically say before this, they were into the deep state. And then once they're in power, they said, well, forget it. Nothing to see here. Nothing about the PDF files the last 2 days. That is done. However, that is done in the news. In the news. If one day, all of a sudden, something comes along and 50 million people are tuning in to find out about such and such, then they'll pay attention. The most important way to kill detection of deception is by controlling media. Mockingbird media goes back since day one. Let me give you a fact, some interesting things. Did you know? And I used to tell people all the time about 9/11 because that was it. It's my red pill. Did you know on the day of 9/11 there were maybe 40, 30, I don't know, hijacking drills on that day? I give you the name. Overlook Warrior and Criterion, all these names, these operations, this. You know how this works, right? If ever you hear that there is a drill, if ever you hear that there's any kind of a drill, that's when something happens. That's when something happens because the drill goes hot like that. So on the day of his alleged hijack or these hijacks, on that day, there were 30, 40, whatever, different drills. So when you called up and said, hey guys, there's a hijacked plane here. We know about that. No. Not the drill. It's a real hijack. No, you're supposed to say that. No, I'm not a part of the drill. I'm telling you there's a high. You see how that works? One of the best ways, if ever you hear that in your town they're doing a drill for bank robberies, there's going to be a bank robbery. I'm telling you, it's axiomatic. That one. Now, did that prove anything? No. But it was interesting, wasn't it? I would tell people, what about that? And they said, well, what are you going to do? Why hasn't Trump fixed the Smith and Munt Act? Smith-Munt Act, by the way, is not what you think. That has to do with propaganda, and that's okay, but that's not critical. That's something that we care about. Frankly, no, it's interesting, but use your request very carefully. You got to get to Congress. He's not going to, he can bring it up, but you got to explain this to people. Believe me, it's not that it's not important. Focus on stuff that's really critical. Triage it. Could Tyler Robinson be a factor in this, similar to the use of the Pamela Smart case? Of course. One of the things which is the most interesting, if you brought somebody in, I said, all right, gentlemen, sit down. Let me show you who are. Let's say I could have a blue ribbon team. I've got people from my buddy John Kiriakou or people who have been in organized crime. I would have some pretty serious, snipers and military and black ops, black bag, intel, all these folks. I would say, let me show you. This is our suspect. What do you think most people would say? You're kidding me. Do you know that I'm sorry to keep going back. Do you know that when 9/11 happened, when architects and engineers from 9/11 Truth, when they showed, there were people who didn't know what some of these things were, like the Building 7, they said, oh, it's a demolition. These are people around the world who were involved in that. No, they said, that's Building 7. What? No, that's a controlled demolition. You can see the squib. No. Or the main towers. They said, no, and they were shocked. They said, we see this. You think anybody cares about that now? No. Rumsfeld announced billions missing the day before. Yes. And what does that mean? I don't know. We know this. See, but that's not enough. How about this? No plane in the building. Hey, now we're on to something. How about that? How about Flight 93 in Shanksville? There's no plane there. How about that? Now, what does that mean? What does that mean? The plane can... Remember, we're going to try to go to the public and we're going to say, now, let me explain to you the Charlie Kirk story. Who? Charlie Kirk. Oh, yeah. Now, you got to follow me. Okay, tell me if you can fit it on a bumper sticker. No, I can't. Charlie Kirk. No. Look. See, let me explain something. Tyler Robinson, forget it. They will say, case closed, that's it. So what are we going to do? How do we do this? We don't go and ask for an independent government or independent fighting. We need our own Russell Tribunal. We need to have one day something on some platform that cannot be affected, that cannot be shut down, that cannot be closed, but something where we're getting 50 million people watching it. 50 million people. There's no 50 million anything anymore. And if all of a sudden 50 million people, and it would also take this, believe it or not, is there a shadow government? Most certainly. Absolutely. You can take that to the bank. Now, who are they? Where are they? We can argue that all day long. But we need to have somebody. What if all of a sudden after this, you saw teams of, let's say, protests in front of the DOJ? We've never seen this before. 1 day, 2 day, 3 day. We get somebody like Atpor. Did you know that there are groups of people? If you need to put on a some kind of a demonstration, let's say you want to change a regime in a different country. Atpor, OTPOR, was one. I think it's Serbian. This was years back. They work with the Occupation Wall Street. You go to them. They say, okay, here's what we're going to need. They did this in the Maidan, in the staged, the pushed, the riots and the revolution that was manufactured to overthrow Ukraine, to bring in Zelensky. But anyway, they go in there. They're so good. They say, okay, here's what you need. Let me show you how to do this. Number one, you need a slogan. We got this. We got a print department. Antifa, the fist. Take care of that. What do you want? I'm dead serious. You pick out your slogan. We got a saying, got a chant. We'll give you a chant, give you music. We'll show you how to march. We'll show you things like intel, what to wear, what not to wear, how to move in your teams. You got to take food. When you see all of a sudden pizza sales go through, you can get anything done. I'm telling you this, and people think I'm kidding. You can get anybody to do anything if you give them pizza. And there's no pizza connection with this. I'm sorry, please. It's not what you think. It's the easiest food to deliver for kids or young people. When we were during the George Floyd case, remember that one? Here in New York, let me tell you what we saw. All of a sudden, overnight, they would have bricks in the cable. They were on pallets that would show up on a corner on 57th, 5th Avenue, Cartier, Dior, and all these shops. Bricks as brickbats to be sent as missiles through windows. Where'd that come from? I don't know. Antifa had references. My friend in NYPD Intel showed me this. They intercepted these PDF, where to meet, how to do it, the buses that came in. We saw the white buses. We saw on the west side of Manhattan, on 11th Avenue, it is car, Audi, BMW, Bentley, Cadillac, Jeep. I mean, everything is just right down the street. On the George Floyd night, all of a sudden, we noticed the cars were moved from the showroom, and the plywood went up. Where'd they get this from? How'd they know this? Sure enough, that's when they either suspected or that's when things happen. The George Floyd case was orchestrated. Right now, as we speak, there is a team. Don't know where it is, don't know the name of the team, but there's a group of people. The next time a young black man is killed by the police, and it is reviewed by, it's almost like a personal injury team. They review the facts and they say, yep, that's a good one. Ben Crump, who was their lawyer, he doesn't really do the litigation. He's the front man. They seek a local counsel, but they go in, they sign up the family, and they go in and they say, this is the latest example. They start the protest. They used to get Al Sharpton, but he's not of any use anymore. So it's done. But they're ready for this. They have to wait for the right moment. And believe me when I tell you this, it's ready to come. It's ready to happen. I'm not kidding you. They're ready to go. Hope it doesn't. But that's one of the easiest things in the world, because people are ready to go and they love to riot, because people love to loot. There's something called auto loot. There's two things you got to learn about. One of them is auto mourn and auto loot. This is my theories. Auto mourn is when people in the world of social media all of a sudden pretend that some celebrity who dies, they're losing their mind. I can't speak. No words. Oh no. And B died? Oh God. What are you talking about? Because they're so disconnected from real feelings that they want to feel something. And the something that they feel is this idea that they're somehow connected to some celebrity who dies. The other one is auto loot. Whenever there's a destruction of order, whenever there's destabilization, these people will immediately go into breaking in and taking stuff under the guise of civil unrest. They're thieves. In many jurisdictions, in many places, there is an ordinance that says, in the case of a riot, the first thing that's closed are liquor stores. What does that tell you? What was the last liquor store that Martin Luther King went to? No, you know who these rioters are. Come on, it's a joke. So we know how this is done. But you see, they don't fear us. We don't do anything. We're great at this. Oh, this one will say something to be the most fantastic thing. This is great. Wolves will say this. That's terrific. Baron Coleman will say this. There's all these great people and it's fantastic. It's fantastic. Look at this. Then you say, okay, what do we do with it? You cannot believe the stuff we learned during 9/11. It went nowhere. I would tell people sometimes, I said, let me tell you a story about this. And you tell me when this sounds weird to you. And invariably people will say in response, I didn't know that. That's the point. You don't know this. Because there's something also wrong with us. You see, I can only speak for myself. There's something wrong with when the system is used the wrong way. I know nobody cares about him, but what they did to Diddy was no good. But Diddy, there may have been, I don't know, his claim to fame was not that he was involved with minors, but that these freak offs, whatever. Why? Something happened to him. One of the things that he did was when he backed out of that booze company, he started using the race thing, and also other people never got caught. Jay-Z, other people. Out of all the people in the world, he got caught. Why? Him. And they got him on Mann Act. And I predicted, I said this. I was on so many shows. They're not going to find him guilty. It wasn't racketeering. It wasn't anything. It wasn't trafficking. It wasn't any. These people, women were going crazy to get in. There were people who were bribed and they had to get in. Now, I'm not saying it's a good guy. I'm not saying that. But when I would bring that up, I'm saying, why are you going after him? Why? Now, because nobody liked Diddy, nobody listened to me. I believe in this. That's right, my friends. It's called the Constitution. I don't care who you are. Harvey Weinstein. You know what they did to Harvey Weinstein? This is the best. He's a dirtbag. But that's not a crime. If being a dirtbag was against the law, there'd be nobody in Hollywood, nobody in Washington, nobody anywhere. You know what they did to him? You know what they did to him? Because he didn't really have a lot of stuff. In fact, the number of People in DC, in Hollywood, who are famous stars because of him, they didn't complain. They may have done whatever, but he came through. But what they did with him, they did this similar fact evidence, which I hate this. What they do is this. They take prior similar facts and they use it against you. Let me give you an example. Let's say you are a bank robber. And we know that whenever you rob a bank, you wear a particular type of hat, use a particular type of weapon, and you say some particular phrase, you have an MO. Every single time you do it. And we know it's you. You've been caught. We know it's you. That's it. Now, we got a new case. We got a guy who wore a mask, unidentified, but he has your MO. Exactly. And we know it's you. But nobody can identify you because you wore a mask. So what I do is I bring up somebody you've robbed in the past. Now we know it's you. And they say, yep, he wears that hat, that gun, and says this thing. Now the argument is going to be, wait a minute. You're telling the jury that he has a prior robbery? Well, they might say, well, then the hell with it. I'll find him guilty. Oh, no, that's not why we're using it. We're using it to show not a lack of mistake of fact, intent, planning, a similar MO. Come on. It kind of makes sense. So what they did with Harvey, they said, well, we may not be able to get you on this one, but we're going to bring all these women in who've never been charged or never charged you, and we're going to have them tell what you did to them. If you ever had a fight with somebody, a spouse, loved one, and they don't know how to fight, and when they fight with you, they say, oh yeah, well, remember what you did on Christmas. What? Remember remember last year? What are we talking about last year for? I'm talking about now. I don't want to talk about now because I'm losing the case. I want to talk about what you did last Christmas. What? That's where we are. Our criminal justice system. And by the way, you know who was behind the Diddy case? Maureen Comey. That's right. Remember him? Uh-huh. Yep. He had a terrible case. By the way, you know who really has got a strong case is Bolton. It's going to be kind of, but they really got a good case. But I said they got a lousy case against Comey. Lousy. And even Letitia James, but Hillary Clinton, that would have been perfect. So let me go back to you. How do I explain to you the fact that we have a criminal justice system where people get away with murder? They don't care. Nobody cares about Charlie. Nobody. And we live in a country supposedly where they live in this world of true crime. There's no true crime. The true crime is going to be, now look, I don't know if this Tyler had nothing to do with anything or what he thought. I don't know. I've never talked to him. I don't know what the defense is. I don't know what the evidence is. We don't know. How about the fact that they didn't pave the or asphalt or whatever the crime scene? So we can talk about that one. Second one, who was it? Was he alone? Was somebody else? I don't know. I don't know about the wound. I don't know about the trajectory. I don't know any of the the facts of the case involving where it came from, what was the elevation. Can somebody simulate it? You always get somebody to get some really good sniper and say, here, you do this. Try this. There's a 30-06, steel sight, whatever it is. See if you can get this thing. Take all the time in your world. All the time you want. Yeah, it's doable. Now, you're an amateur. You're scared. You've never done this before. Explain the pressure, how many shots, where was it? Why would you just, remember, all I want to do is put doubt in the jury's mind. But people are saying more. It's not that there's more of a doubt. They don't think he did it. Will Russia and China join the conflict? No. There's no joining the conflict. Possibly this case has a mock case, right? You mean, for example, almost like a mock case, but like a shadow case to see if you can somehow try to put this case on. The case is so much. There's so much wrong with it. Just put him on. Look at him. That guy. And when the jury hears something for the first time, They say, let me tell you what he did. All right. Now, one thing is, if his defense is, I didn't do it, you got the other guy, we're going to need him. And then I know normally people say, look, you should never put your defendant on the client, your client on the stand. He has nonsense. Tyler, did you do this? No. Come on. Here, let me read this. Let me read this text. I didn't do that. Oh, like shadow case in another city. Yep. There are ways to do kind of like a mock version of it, if that's what you're referring to. See, if Tyler took the stand and said, I don't know what you're talking about. Was that your rifle? Yeah, but I didn't. That's not what I was. I didn't shoot from that angle. See, it depends. What if he gets there and before he even fires a shot, they hear this. Somebody else says, like, oh my God, I'm a patsy. I was gonna do it, but actually somebody who knew what they were doing did it. I didn't even take a shot. Well, you were involved. You can't conspire with somebody that you don't know. It's two or more guilty people in the Confederation who know that they're conspiring. You can't have somebody join the action and you don't know who they were. I mean, it's wild. Tyler, did you tell your girlfriend to go look for their wife? No. Why would you do that? I don't know. That's not my... Who knows what he's saying? That's not my rifle. I don't know what's going on. What is it? Is he crazy? Now, let me tell you something, too. MK Ultra. Now, we use this in Operation Artichoke and Bluebird and all that other kind of stuff. It may not be the usual stuff. Uh-oh, look at this. We got a new one here. Jane Kaufman, enjoy your podcast. Thank you, Jane. Thank you immensely. Appreciate that. We don't know how this thing works. Oops, hang on a minute. He doesn't know how this thing works. If he sat there and said, I don't know anything about this. Where's Twigs, or whatever his name is, the fuzzy girlfriend or whatever? I want to hear them. I want to hear the facts of it. Where were you that day? He told me to look underneath the keyboard and there was a note. Is this the way he's written? Does this look like his handwriting? Does he use the word vehicle? He doesn't even use English. Do you ever get texts from kids? Or anybody for that matter. IMHO, emoji. It's bananas. What happened to narrative Tyler is found innocent? Well, put it this way. If he's found, and I'm glad you brought this up, he's found not guilty, not innocent, not guilty. Means they didn't prove the case. Doesn't mean he's innocent. Just means they didn't prove the case. Oh, what narrative? Meaning I thought I was implanted before my case. Chris McNabb, my son. I love Where's the Love? Predicto, flip phone, first flip the script on George. Wow. I don't know what that means. But it sounds groovy. Thank you. It sounds very it sounds very kind of beat generation. Something like Allen Ginsberg or Kerouac would write. Anyway. So that's that. The question is, well, so much for that narrative. Why? Why would somebody want him? Now, let me ask you this. I'm going to represent the other side. And I'm going to say, you think maybe some governmental force did it, right? You think maybe a country or a force or some intel agency who didn't like what he was saying, who didn't like where he was going, who didn't like the fact that he was changing his mind and he was against something. He was against military action or against Trump policy or against something. Right? Is that what you're saying? Okay. Now imagine I'm the other. I don't know how to break this to you, but who gives a damn about what he thinks about military? We have international concerns that are so big and powerful. Charlie Kirk ain't nothing to us. What does he think? So what? If we went after everybody who disagrees with us, whoever we are, this would be going 24/7. Do you really think he's going to change anything? And this is not meant as a dig, but their take's going to be, no, we're not going to give up. We're not going to go through this and get caught. For what? For him? Why? We're going to martyr him? What's the point? It doesn't matter. The world doesn't know about Charlie Kirk. We have a country where nobody even comes out to vote. Who cares what he thinks? Put it this way, if he agreed with us, it wouldn't make any difference. That argument says you're holding Charlie's image to too high of an esteem. It doesn't matter. He was important, but not that important. Tu Wong says false flag operation is to flip the script. Yeah, example, record the robot, voice to skull technology is real like own thoughts. Yeah, but that's true. But in this case, I remember the reason why is maybe not as important because it doesn't establish anything. Finding out who is important, but why? Okay. I mean, it helps, but not really. But what I'm telling you is simply this. Now, JFK, oh yeah. This guy was going to destroy the intel operation, the CIA, and break it into 1,000 pieces. You better believe it. Oh yeah. World Trade Center? Ooh. Let me ask you a question. Would we have ever been in Iraq? Would we have ever been in Afghanistan if that tower didn't come down? In 93, there was that explosion in the basement of the World Trade Center. If all of a sudden you saw the planes go in, boom, like every other steel structure, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days a week, it just burns down, still there. But that one had to come down. If it didn't, do you think we'd be in Iraq? No. Any other questions? It's that one is one. If people aren't saying 2 buildings falling on their own footprint symmetrically in free fall, by that, not to mention building 7, not to mention Shanksville where there's no plane, and not to mention there's the Pentagon where there's no plane in there. Nothing got our attention. North Tower, South Tower, Building 7, Shanksville, and Pentagon. Nothing. Nobody even talks about it. We just every year, never forget. Okay. You know those 2 spires, those 2 beams of light? I have one where there's 3, and that's Building 7. Nobody even knows about that. So do you think I can go to the rest of the world and tell them that they're going to go and march on Washington and demand a full-throated, full-throttle investigation as to who actually took Charlie Kirk out? Do you really think that? No. We feel it. A lot of people feel it. Loads of people feel it. But they don't even feel that way about 9/11. Americans don't care. Maybe it's the drugs. Maybe it's the psychotropics. Maybe it's the whatever's in the injection. Maybe whatever they're spraying. I don't know. But their pissed off response is non-existent. They don't act. It's something that is beyond horrid. So I want to say we have to make this important. We have to do it. Don't wait for them. Kash Patel's not going to do it. They're busy with, as you can imagine right now. We have to say, no. But it all starts with, most importantly, with Erica. Because whatever happened at Charlie is I'm sorry, but it's over. Because I don't believe he's alive. I don't believe that for a moment. That doesn't just make any sense. It's one of those things. Have you seen the thing about Jim Carrey? Have you seen that one? Jim Carrey. That's not Jim Carrey. That's Jim Carrey. He had blepharoplasty. He had eye work done. It happens all the time. It's that terrible eye work. You ever see the work done? You ever see Carly Simon recently? Kenny Rogers? Kenny Loggins? This strange, there was another one I saw the other day. I didn't recognize him. These eyes, when you cut the eyes are the sparkle, the twinkle. You speak and you emote through your eyes. And when you cut them and you limit your ability to show, it gives you this weird kind of a strange. There's some other bad ones, some bad. Remember Renee Zellweger had her eyes done? It was horrible. We're changing the way we look. Has anybody seen Kelly Osbourne? Oh my God. Just like she's a starvation, like the Bataan Death March. There are these people who are, because whether it's Ozempic or whatever it is, they're just, they're going, this is insanity. We're changing our face. We're changing the way we look, the way we stand, the way we are. We're changing our color. Look at Beyonce. Beyonce, who went from dark, she's lighter than me. How is this happening? Don't people want to be who they are? Can't you see this transmogrification, this weird chameleon? It's like these stages of vampirism or something. We're turning into, I don't know what we're turning into. We are a messed up people. And I'm going to go explain to these people about Charlie Kirk? No, we have to go out and we have to tell them. Sell it as true crime. Sell it to them to make it sound important. But you start with showing them Erica, because people will not believe how phony she is. They can't believe you. Am I right? When was the first time you saw Erica and you thought, oh my God, this, no. Did you? No. What was that first moment where you thought to yourself, dear God, this is, when people see that, that gets their attention. Because there's something about it, because it's so fraudulent and it's so fake and it's so fugazi. Mrs. Rex Murphy, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. That's the one that gets me. I show people this. Watch this. Watch her. And the worst, I still think, I'm a broken record, is when she was lying across the casket, covering it with Charlie's hands. Disgusting. Disgusting. And then later on that Zoom call. Hey guys, how's everybody working? How's everybody doing? Huh? Oh yeah, the red rum. Oh yeah. Wah, wah, wah. Ooh, I don't know. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. All righty. If this were anything real, somebody would say, Erica, may I talk to you? Yeah. Don't you ever speak in front of anybody until you run it by me. You need lessons and quick. Do you understand? You don't understand. They love me. They don't love you. They don't even know who you are. They don't love you. Yes, they do. No, they don't. Do you know what this is? This will haunt you for the rest of your life. You don't even know it, do you? You don't know it. This, you look up, it's like you're, and the best of the best of the best of the best. It's terrible to say the best, but that poor Ukrainian mother who sat next to her at the State of the Union. Dear God, that was it. That was it. It was almost cruel. You think somebody would say, excuse me, where is Erica going to be sitting? She's going to be in the grieving widow and family section. Oh, no. Can we put her behind the Medal of Honor winner or a recipient? No, we can't do that, because when people see what legitimate grief looks like compared to her, it'll never work. See, we know this. And let me leave you with this. Do not lose this fire that you have for finding alternative theories. Do not lose your love of the conspiracy theory. Embrace it. Don't let them tell you what to do. Dig deep. Historically, if somebody brings up something, good, go for it. Look at what they're doing. Look at it. Embrace it. But understand there's a difference between an hypothesis and proof. Doesn't matter. We'll decide. Because nobody wants to do this. Nobody cares about this. Nobody cares about him. We care about Charlie. But most importantly, in an odd way, Erica Kirk is like an insult to our intelligence. It's like the ultimate insult. How dare you? How dare you? You're going to learn. You're going to pay from this. Bottom line. You understand this? And by the way, as far as wolves in finance, I think it is wonderful. A lot of the stuff that this young man has said has been around. He's new. And that's it. It's historical. Historical references, the way things work. Always do this. Remember Operation Northwoods? Who has not heard of Northwoods? Let me give you a couple of things. Northwoods is still one of the best. Northwoods will show you how sick these people are. You understand that? They will absolutely, positively. Northwoods shows you everything. Remember that one? It was one of the best ever. And when you show people this, and during 9/11, when I read this, and there it was, where they said, let's take a plane. We wanted Castro. We wanted to go to war and attack Castro. Let's bring it on. Not so much as a false flag, yes, but draw them into the war. So let's have this plane take off in Miami. Like, hey, we're taking off. And it's a soccer team, and they're going on some event, and it's all spooks, all CIA, all whatever it is. But bye. You never know who's on a plane. You never know who's on a plane. Nobody says goodbye. When you hear a plane went down, flight 1683 from Denver to you don't know who these people are. Nobody goes on and says, excuse me, yes. Did anybody know anybody on that flight? No. You never know that. Why would you? You just assume these people were on a plane. It went down. It's a tragic. They tell you 80 people, 100 people, 200 people. You just assume it. They have a picture, and you're going to say, why the hell would I dispute this? There's the wreckage. Well, maybe. So this plane takes off out of, let's say, Miami, filled with, spokes or whatever. They take off, and they land at Eglin, which is an Air Force base in Florida. They get out. They say goodbye. They take a drone, a plane like a drone, a plane that's not with nobody in it. They put the painting, the insignia, United or National or whatever the hell that thing was, whatever at the time, and it flies over or near Cuba. At the point where it's not traversing and violating Cuban airspace, they hit the button, it blows up. Falls, fragment, debris, the tail, look at this, all the lives lost. Castro, that son of a bitch. Now we're going to move and declare war. We're going to go in and finish the job. Operation Northwoods. Bobby Kennedy, I think, and John Kennedy said, no way, you're out of your mind. Oh, Edie says, Mr. L, I looked up St. Lawrence of Rome. Wow. I know. I told you. Turn me over. I'm done on this side. People don't believe me. Now, do you see what I just told you? See what I just told you? Now, why is that relevant to 9/11? Well, one could argue that if that were the case, and if that were done again, and if that would be very easy to take a plane, make it a drone, and fly it in there. Who would throw, not Muhammad Atta, but throw a passport outside? It doesn't really matter. Who's going to question this? See, during times of horror, people don't want to hear your theories. They think you're sick. They think there's something wrong with you. It's like, why are you doing this? But you say, but this is when they would do this. How dare you? You're in a time of national tragedy. No, you don't. You see what I'm saying? What are they telling you about Erica? How dare you? Bongino, how dare you? How dare you? Wait a minute. Don't you want to hear? I don't want to hear anything about her. I hate that. I hate that. She's crazy. She's a demon, right? Is that the word for the week? Is a demon. Notice how all the paid people use the same particular word for the week. It's like, here are our specials, Yankee pot roast. These are our words today. Now we know that. See, but also you got to understand, do me a favor. Do you have friends of yours who don't know anything? Don't talk to them about this. Don't waste your time. Don't explain. Don't expect that somebody's going to understand what you're saying. Don't expect people to believe or understand what you're saying. This is new to them. And when you talk about conspiracy stuff, they go berserk. They can't handle it. They can't handle it. And for reasons I don't even understand. For reasons I do not understand. They can't handle it. So with that, my friend, I say, Did everybody have a great day today? Let's do a very quick run through. Let's do a quick roll call. Where's everybody from? Let's get an idea. Just preferably, rather than Minnesota, I like names of cities, and just to give it a, where's everybody from? Just to get an idea of the number of people here, because there are more people watching right now than some CNN shows. And it's phenomenal. It's one of those things. Land grab for the bullet train. Yes, Angels. Look at this, Milwaukee. Look at this. Washington, Scotland, Tennessee, Napa, Madison, Massachusetts, MASSACHUSEWDS. The Dunning-Kruger effect, yes. They don't know they're stupid. La Paz, Bolivia, Quebec, Hawaii, fine, how are you? Matador, Texas. Panama City, Panama, ooh. Panhandle. Kansas City, Missouri or Kansas? Look at this, Brunswick, Indiana. I love this. I love this. I love the fact that here we are, but not only are we watching this, we're conversing, we're conviviating. Look at this. Originally from Costa Rica, now in New Jersey since 2000. That's a hell of a jump. Kansas, Boston, Kuala Lumpur. Wow. San Simeon. Isn't that Hearst? No. The land of the beaver. I'll leave it at that. Rockland County. Beautiful. All right, dear friends. Thank you so much. Have a great happy March, by the way. Happy March, first day of March. I think, was it 9th? Daylight saving? Or daylight? Is it daylight saving or savings? I don't know. I always have to refer to it. So maybe spring is on its way. We'll get our stuff together with that. Thank you so much, my friends. I love this magically. Let's do it again tomorrow, because something tells me, is Candace going to be introducing another volume? I hope so. If she does, we will be there to review it in its entirety, to support her, to support the cause, never forget Charlie, and to seek justice. Why? Because we want to. We don't have to ask permission to seek justice. I don't have to go to law enforcement and ask them to do it. We're here first. We'll take care of it. We don't worry about grand juries. This is our grand jury. All right, dear friends, have a great and a glorious day. Love you to death. Until then, my friends, as I always say, the monkey's dead. Tonight, by the way, overnights, 1 to 5 on WABC. Listen, 77. There's an app you can watch. It gets crazy. Overnights. All right, my friend, have a great and glorious day. Until then, remember, the monkey's dead. Show's over. Sue you. Ta-ta. Love you.